Well, the announcement has been made that the date for the conclave that will determine the new Roman Catholic Church Pope has been set up and could happen somewhere between March the 9th and the 11th. The Pope released a statement today that he would empower the cardinals to go ahead with the conclave as soon as they are ready. Normally, the church provides a certain amount of time after the death of a pope before the election can be held. However, since this present pope did not die, but has announced in advance that he will resign on the 28th of September, all of the cardinals that will be participating in the election have had plenty of time to get to Rome. Most of them are there already. Consequently, they have plenty of time to get together and do the preparatory work necessary before going into the conclave. A conclave is a vote. What actually happens is this. The cardinals all get together and they meet having discussions about where the church is right now and what kind of a pope will be needed to lead the church in the times ahead. Once they have these meetings, they then go into conclave. Once they go into conclave, they are all placed inside the Vatican, locked in. They cannot communicate with the outside world, and they begin to vote for the election of a new pope. Sometimes the election will take place very quickly. Other times it can go on for many days. Now, back in previous times, one particular papal election went on for over 1 year. The popes were deadlocked. They could not decide, and consequently, they kept them there for over a year until they finally were able to elect a pope. The cardinals are the electors. There are, I think, 116 cardinals that are qualified to vote and will be voting for the new Roman pontiff. Now, you have to realize, if you're not familiar with the inside workings of the church, we're talking about vast power and vast wealth. We're talking about a claim to the loyalty of over 1 billion human beings, approximately 1/6 of the world's population. We're talking about incredible resources and wealth of the church. We're also talking about great political clout, because most people, especially those where the Roman Catholic populations are quite strong, the Roman Catholic Church exercises a tremendous amount of power, politically speaking. Furthermore, the Roman Church has a huge network of diplomatic ambassadors throughout the world. They have their ears everywhere, all the way down to the parish level, and consequently are very, very active and very, very influential. So that's the reason the world is so fascinated. Another reason that the world is so fascinated right now, and we talked about it previously on this program, but there's a Roman Catholic prophecy that the 112th Pope will be the last Pope. Well, the one being elected within the next 2 weeks is going to be the 112th Pope. And furthermore, the prophecy that was given by a Roman Catholic priest by the name of St. Malachi said that during the days of the 112th Pope, Rome would be destroyed. Well, the Bible says that Rome will be destroyed during the time of the Antichrist and the false prophet. And the Bible teaches that whoever is the Pope at the time of the Antichrist, he will fill the role of the false prophet. So that all boils down simply to this: within the next 2 weeks, the question is, will we be seeing the election of the new pope in the next of the false prophet within the next 2 weeks? Now, I want to make sure we don't slide over this. What are the possibilities that we are going to see the election of the false prophet in the next 2 weeks? If the prophecy of St. Malachi can be trusted, then that's what's going to happen. Now, it appears the prophecy of St. Malachi and the prophecy of the Bible are harmonizing together. The Bible, however, does not say that the false prophet will be the 112th Pope from the time of St. Malachi when he had his vision. That's the words of St. Malachi. So that's the big difference. Yes, there is going to be a final pope. Yes, Rome will be destroyed during his reign. And yes, he will be the false prophet. But whether it's this next one or not, then that's a whole nother question. According to St. Malachi, the answer is yes. The Bible does not indicate. Now, all of the prophecies of the Bible are converging right now. I want to make this very clear because we've talked about this a lot on this program. We've talked a tremendous amount on this program about the possibility of the 112th Pope being the final Pope and being the false prophet. I want to make it clear. The Bible does not teach that. That's the teaching of St. Malachi, a Roman Catholic seer who had a vision back in 1139, I believe it was, AD. And he claimed the 112th Pope would be the last one. Well, this next Pope is the 112th Pope. So those are the words of St. Malachi, not the words of the Bible, but the similarities of the other clues between the Bible and the prophecy of St. Malachi is, in fact, very, very strong and very, very interesting. So we want to talk about those things. Now, another thing we want to talk about today is that rumors are rife that there is an exploding scandal within the Roman Church. We know that the entire papacy of Benedict XVI has been plagued by the way he dealt with a lot of the perversion, a lot of the sex abuse of priests toward young men. And there are strong charges that he covered up for a lot of priests that were involved in these types of activities. Well, supposedly there are new charges now surfacing, and apparently at the age of 85 with failing health, Pope Benedict XVI just did not feel like he was qualified, had the strength to deal with breaking scandal like this. So it's going to be very interesting. Many people think the church has to elect a young, vigorous pope that is equipped to handle these charges. Already, one particular bishop has been forced to resign because 4 priests have come forward saying that he molested them when they were under his authority. You have to understand that when priests are under a bishop, that bishop has total control over their lives, and they give a pledge of total obedience to their bishop. So once he decides to use that power to molest them sexually, it is a situation that can lay hidden for many years because they realize he has their career in his hands, and they are so taught to revere him and to obey him that many times they even have come to believe that they were doing the right thing by submitting to the advances. Well, now then, 4 of these priests under this particular bishop have now come forward, and my understanding is, as of today, he has resigned his office. So this is part of what is going on. Things are boiling in the Roman Catholic Church right now. Yet, don't forget, the Roman Catholic Church is getting ready to enjoy a time of apparent ascendancy of power. The Catholic Church will be a partnership with the one world governmental system that's now emerging. All of the popes in the last 50 years have endorsed a one world governmental system. They have traditionally promoted it. They are avid promoters of the Holy Roman Empire reborn, of the European Union in Europe. They have been prime movers behind that for a long time. There are those who say they provided the money to launch the European Union and in order to revive the Holy Roman Empire. So all of this is boiling. Here we are on February the 25th with these elections coming up somewhere between March the 9th and March the 11th. They want to get the conclave over with so that they can have a successful Holy Week because the Palm Sunday, I think, happens on the 24th of March, and then Easter's on the 31st of March. So this is a huge time. It's the biggest time of the year for the Roman Catholic Church, and they very much want a new pope installed so they can ride the wave of the new publicity into a very successful time as Easter approaches. So those are some of the things that are happening right now that I think all of you should know about. We're going to be taking your calls on the program today. Before we go to our first break, however, I do want to bring up a thing or two that's of tremendous interest, in my opinion. As all of you know, President Obama is scheduled to go to Israel on the 20th of March, but only if a new government is formed. Prime Minister Netanyahu has hit all kinds of obstacles in trying to put a government together. However, other things are happening in conjunction with President Obama's visit. The Palestinian Authority officials are warning President Obama about visiting the Al-Aqsa Mosque. They say any visitor is welcome to Al-Aqsa, but they should follow the regulations of the Waqf and enter through the Lion's Gate and not through Mughrabi Gate to ensure Muslim sovereignty. So they're bringing President Obama into the argument about who should be sovereign over the Temple Mount. He is hoping to meet with Mahmoud Abbas and also Prime Minister Netanyahu, if he gets his government together, on the 20th of March or thereabout, in order to discuss the possibility of peace. Now, I am convinced that there are some things going on behind the scenes that we do not know about. I've just read enough articles and I've been able to pick up enough indicators that there's something afoot. One of the biggest things is Prime Minister Netanyahu, the first coalition partner is Tzipi Livni, and she was the chief negotiator during the peace talks under Ehud Olmert when they felt like they almost had a deal done. So she's been there, she's done that, and apparently Netanyahu is willing for her to pick up where she left off. Now, this is pretty stunning to a lot of people because some people paint Netanyahu as a hardliner, and yet Tzipi Livni is believed to be willing to redivide Jerusalem and also to create a Palestinian state. So he has now publicly stated that she will lead the peace talks with the Palestinians. He is dangling the carrot out there of a possible peace agreement between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And right now, President Obama is coming there. Could it be they already are close to an agreement right now? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting as we find out. So a lot of things boiling. All of it has to do with Bible prophecy.